Manipulative language is a common tactic used by people who want to influence or control others. It can take many forms, such as flattery, fear-mongering, guilt-tripping, or simply making it seem like there is no other option. The goal of manipulative language is to make the other person feel like they have no choice but to do what the manipulator wants. One common example of manipulative language is the use of flattery. For instance, someone might say, "You're such a smart and talented person. I'm sure you'll make the right decision." While this might seem like a compliment, it's actually a way of putting pressure on the other person to do what the manipulator wants. By implying that the person is intelligent and capable, the manipulator is trying to make them feel like they should be able to figure out what the right decision is, which just so happens to be the one that the manipulator wants them to make. Another form of manipulative language is fear-mongering. This is when the manipulator tries to scare the other person into doing what they want by warning of dire consequences if they don't comply. For example, a parent might say, "If you don't eat your vegetables, you'll never grow up to be healthy and strong." This is an attempt to make the child feel like they have to eat the vegetables in order to avoid being unhealthy, even if they don't actually enjoy eating them. Guilt-tripping is another common tactic used by manipulators. This is when the manipulator tries to make the other person feel guilty for not doing what they want. For instance, a friend might say, "I can't believe you're not coming to my party. I thought we were better friends than that." The goal here is to make the person feel like they are letting the manipulator down, and that they should do what they want in order to make amends. Finally, manipulators may simply try to make it seem like there is no other option besides doing what they want. For example, a boss might say, "If you don't take on this extra project, we'll have to let you go." This is an attempt to make the employee feel like they have no choice but to take on the extra work, even if it's not something they want to do. While manipulative language can be effective at getting people to do what the manipulator wants, it is ultimately harmful and unfair. It undermines the other person's autonomy and decision-making ability, and can lead to resentment and a lack of trust in the manipulator. One way to protect yourself from manipulative language is to recognize when it's being used against you. Pay attention to your own feelings and reactions. If you feel uncomfortable or pressured, it's likely that someone is trying to manipulate you. You can also practice assertiveness and set boundaries by saying things like, "I appreciate your input, but I need to make my own decisions," or "I'm sorry, but I can't do what you're asking." There is also scientific evidence to support the importance of autonomy and self-determination in human well-being. Research has shown that people who have more control over their own lives and decisions tend to be happier and more motivated. On the other hand, people who feel like they have no choice but to do what others want often experience negative emotions like anger, frustration, and resentment. In conclusion, manipulative language is a common tactic used by people who want to influence or control others. It can take many forms, such as flattery, fear-mongering, guilt-tripping, or simply making it seem like there is no other option. While it can be effective at getting people to do what the manipulator wants, it is ultimately harmful and unfair, as it undermines the other person's autonomy and decision-making ability. To protect yourself from manipulative language, it's important to recognize when it's being used against you and to practice assertiveness and set boundaries. Remember that you have the right to make your own decisions and pursue your own goals, and don't let anyone else dictate your actions or tell you what you should or shouldn't want. It's also important to be aware of your own use of manipulative language, as it's easy to fall into the habit of using it without realizing it. When communicating with others, try to be honest and straightforward, and respect their right to make their own decisions. This will help build trust and strengthen your relationships, rather than causing resentment and conflict. In summary, manipulative language is a tactic that can be harmful and unfair, but by being aware of it and practicing assertiveness, you can protect yourself and make your own choices, rather than being controlled by someone else's desires. Remember that you have the right to make your own decisions and pursue your own goals, and don't let anyone else dictate your actions or tell you what you should or shouldn't want.